So I will give you the unedited truth about what it is to live in Accra as a Black American. I will give you the positives, I will give you the negatives, but this is a situation that is completely tailored to me. I'm not saying that everyone will have the same experience, of course, but this is my experience. So I arrived in Accra about 10 months ago. I arrived very optimistic, very happy, very relieved to be able to just get a break from America and all the stress that goes along with living in America, particularly as a Black American. And I came here very optimistic, very, very happy, very excited about embarking on a new life in Africa, in Ghana. I've heard so many wonderful, positive things about this place, about the people, about everything. And I will say that I was a bit idealistic in my perception of the country. And I think that's one of the pitfalls that I had, is just being a little too idealistic, romanticizing Africa and not doing the proper research to get an idea of what it truly is like before just embarking on this trip. And I came with the intention to move here. I haven't never been here before, never been to Africa, but I'm just like, you know what? America really isn't moving in a positive direction, I feel. And I feel like the next decade will be a tumultuous one in the States. So I just figured, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity to just start something fresh, start something new, and live in another continent and see what it's like and have that experience. And that is what I did. I arrived in March 2019, year of return. And I got an Airbnb, which was cool. It was nice. It was a bit far from the city. But I made do. And about 10 days after arriving, I met someone in a club who would have great influence on my perception of the country. He would have very, very strong influence on my perception of the country. Unfortunately, not the most positive perception, but it's been a learning experience for sure. As a Black American, I came just eyes wide open, optimistic, eager to learn all there is to learn about Ghanaian culture, art, spirituality. Coming here humble, coming here wanting to show love, coming here wanting to create connections and enjoy myself. That was my goal, that was my intention, and that's just what I knew was going to happen. Because why not? I'm a happy person, I'm an optimistic person, I get along with most people. I'm very understanding, very empathic, and it's rare for me to have issues with anyone. To be honest, it's rare for me to have fights, issues, problems. So this is where this individual comes in that I meet at the club. Charming, of course, charming. On the surface, very kind, very nice. On the surface, mind you. And I kind of tell him my experience about my Airbnb. It's far away from the city. That's not really how it was advertised on Airbnb. And it was just really hard to get around, being that I, wasn't mobile. And I told him that I was looking for a place to rent, but I was having a hard time securing that because I kept getting a lot of scams and a lot of people trying to cheat me or take advantage of me because I'm American. So I kind of just explained that to him, and he told me that he would help me out and he would help me find a place, and that he actually has a place for me to rent. And in the meantime, I could just stay with him. that is a red flag, mind you, but I was a little desperate to get out of the Airbnb because no AC in March, dry season, extremely hot, horrible plumbing, room. It was just so many things, so many issues with the Airbnb. And I mean, just to get basic things like food and, necessities, basic necessities, getting your currency exchanged. A 20-minute walk down a dirt road in a little, in an impoverished neighborhood, looking as American as I look. It just, but no, this isn't going to work for me. I stuck out like a sore thumb, despite the fact I attempted to blend in, and the vibe, it wasn't, I knew that it wasn't going to work. So I took him up on his offer, actually. And I ended up staying with him for about 7 months, 8 months. And inevitably it led to a relationship. And we got pretty close. The thing about this situation is that he's manipulative. And with manipulative people, they have a tendency to want to control you and control how other people perceive you. So if I'm in a new country, I don't know anyone, I have no family here, I have no familial ties to Africa. We have been excommunicated from the continent for 400 years. No one here, don't know anybody. But with my personality, I'm open to meeting, genuine, kind-hearted people and forging connections that are authentic. So with this situation, it kind of changed my perspective and my perception of the country and the people, because of the people that I was kind of forced to encounter, being that I was living with him and kind of relied upon him to navigate the country, navigate the city, see how things work, show me how things work, show me how to negotiate, and show me how to, just learn. And I do appreciate him for that, because he helped me to learn so much about the city and how things work. So I'm grateful for that, without a doubt. But I will say, the people that I was kind of forced to interact with, the people that I was forced to meet, they weren't the most positive. They were not the most welcoming. They were not the most kind-hearted people. And it was kind of disheartening, because as a Black American coming to Africa, coming to Ghana on the year of return, you want to feel welcomed. You know what I mean? Like you want to feel as if you are welcomed, and now you would want to believe that these people are educated on the slave trade and what really happened to slave descendants and why we want to return. But I'm realizing a lot of them simply are not educated on the truth of what really happened and the tragedies and the trauma of what really happened. So I've found that a lot of them have a hard time putting themselves in the shoes of diasporans who are descendants of slaves. They're thinking, America, a lot of them think America is, just a land of opportunity. And a lot of them, I'm not going to say a lot of them, but some of them hold stereotypical views of Black Americans, ignorant, just an unfortunate rhetoric that is perpetuated throughout the media. They just believe it, which is understandable. You watch Real Housewives, Married to Medicine, Love and Hip Hop, you're going to think that that's how all Black Americans behave. If that is what is inundated and fed to you via media, and you don't see any other viewpoint, and you don't see any other perspective, they just assume that's just what it is. And it's very, very unfortunate. And So yeah, I was with this particular individual, and I was living with him for quite a while. And during that time, I encountered a lot of people, a lot of people that he knows, and so many of them approached me with so much negativity and so much rudeness and so much presumption. And every time that I would point this out to him, he'd be like, "Oh, that's just the culture. That's just how they talk. Oh, you're being sensitive." Basically, just gaslighting me and minimizing my feelings and my perspective. And I would notice every time one of his associates, one of his friends would make a rude remark, he would have a smirk on his face. So I'm putting two and two together. Like, okay, like on the surface, yeah, he's kind and he's warm towards me, but behind my back, something else is going on. I don't know how he's trying to paint me. I don't know. I don't know what he's attempting to do, how he's trying to label me. But every single person, male, female, I'm a very sunny disposition, optimistic, person. So when I meet someone, like, I'm excited and I'm genuinely interested. I'm giving you genuine, authentic energy. I would say hello to one of his friends. They would not say hello back. I would walk into a room. They would pretend as if they don't see me, and he would be there, and he just kind of like had a smirk on his face. So basically, I was there to be bullied. I was there to be a scapegoat. I was there to basically just be mistreated for their entertainment, I presume. I don't know. I don't know why people do that. I don't do that to people. So I don't understand what he was getting out of that. While pretending, no, I wouldn't say he was pretending, but while putting on this facade of, he loves me, and I'm his girl, and yada 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 da, 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 da. But behind my back, he was basically just dragging me in the mud, trying to paint me in a negative light and trying to curate my reputation in a negative fashion in a country where I know nobody, amongst people who talk a lot, gossip a lot, and it can be very isolating. And I think that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to completely isolate me, and if I even attempted to venture out, people would have their own preconceived notions about who I am based off of what he was telling them, which wasn't true anyway. So this it's messed up my perception of the country, because I come from a place where, gossiping, lying on people, trying to tarnish someone's reputation, it's just not respected behavior. It's especially in adulthood, in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, if you're behaving in that fashion, I don't entertain it, and I don't give it energy, and I certainly don't partake in it, because I would not want that to happen to me. But I'm understanding that while there's so many beautiful things about Ghana, and there's so many beautiful things about Accra, that this is very much reality if you encounter a certain subset of people who thrive on negativity, who thrive on gossip, who thrive on narcissism, who thrive on bullying, and trying to dismantle someone's self-esteem and self-worth. And that's been my experience for the year of return. Welcome to Africa. This is what happens, at least for me. And I'm just like, wow, welcome to Africa. Welcome to Ghana. Welcome home. And this is what happens. This is what happens. This is my big welcoming back. Which is still, because I'm still here, a bunch of bullshit. And it's like, I didn't say anything for a long time, and I let it go, and I allowed it to not affect me, and I just focused on other things, higher minded things, and just focused on disarming the toxicity that I was forced to be in since I was living with him. And he was in control of the narrative of me. The narrative didn't have to be true, but it was a narrative that he could control. And he liked the idea of being able to control me through slander, lies, defamation of character, and painting himself as, just some good guy, really trying to help her out and trying to do this, trying to do that, yada yada yada. He's the good guy. I'm whatever he's painting me as, and it's all to make him look great and to make me look bad. That's the whole objective. And unfortunately, that has been my experience in Accra. That was my experience for the year of return. Of course, I went to the slave castles. Of course, you know what I mean? I went to the beaches, and, I've had fun, and I've gone to the clubs. I've had positive experiences as well. Like, I've had positive experiences, but the overall theme of me being here has just been so much negativity, despite the fact that I came in with positive intentions. So much hate. Like people that I've never met before, people that I've never seen before, coming at me with attitude based off of what somebody else told them about me in a whole nother continent that I'm not from. People who don't know anything about me. And they really get a kick out of it. And these are adults. These are people in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, established, homeowners, educated. You know what I mean? I'm not hanging out with just children. Now, these are adults who are behaving like children. And it's unfortunate, but that has been my experience, and I wish I had a different perspective. I wish I've had different experiences. I haven't been here for a year yet. I've been here for about 10 months, so I'm still going to again still be optimistic and still hope for something else, to be able to see something else, to be able to have a different perspective of this country, so I don't leave prematurely thinking that this is all that there is. I know there's good people here. I know this. I know there has to be. No one place is just full of wickedness. No one place is like that. So there's good people, there's bad people. They exist. Good people do exist. And I don't want to leave prematurely. I don't want to have a negative perception of Ghana. I don't want to be discouraged or feel like, or give up, or feel like, okay, well, this is it. You know what I mean? I know my name will be exonerated with due time. Whatever's done in the dark comes to light. I'm not worried about that. The evil things that people do, it always comes back on them one way or another. So there's nothing I have to do in order to vindicate myself. There's nothing I need to do, because if people genuinely wanted to know the truth, they would just speak to me. They would ask me questions. They would get to know me, but none of them have done that. None of them have welcomed me or attempted to get to know me on a individual personal level. I've been open. You know what I mean? But on their end, they just, they make assumptions. They just assume things about you based off of stereotypes, based off of gossip, based off of he say, she say. But so far, no one person has come to me down to earth and has genuinely attempted to get to know who I am as an individual, as a person. It's just been a lot of bullshit, to be honest. And it feels very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. And he's telling me, the person who basically started all this, the narcissist who started all this to begin with, he's like, oh, that's just the culture, that's just the culture, that's just Africans, that's just black people, this is what we do. So if you go to Nigeria, if you go to South Africa, if you go to wherever, this is what you're gonna find. And I genuinely don't believe that, because I'm of African descent. I'm a black person. I don't behave like that. I don't operate like that. I don't get joy or glee from trying to tear down other people. I don't get joy or glee for trying to defame someone's character or personhood. I don't do that. I don't operate that way. There's no way that you could come to my country or come to my neighborhood and I go out of my way to make you feel isolated, or I go out of my way to try to ruin your reputation, or make you feel isolated, or make you feel bad, or make you feel like you don't belong. You know what I mean? There's just no way I would ever do that to another human being. I would never do that. So I know not all people are like that. And I know not all Africans, not all Black people are like that. But unfortunately, this has been my experience. It's just a lot of jealousy, a lot of rudeness, a lot of hatred, a lot of backstabbing, a lot of two-faced behavior, a lot of, smiling in your face, but talking shit about you behind your back. A lot of women just being downright nasty. You know what I mean? Downright nasty. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. But I do get complimented a lot on my looks. And I feel like that could be a part of the culprit of the reactions that I've had here. And there's so many beautiful people in Ghana, so many beautiful women in Ghana, in Africa. But I'm realizing that the sisterhood thing, the, supporting other women, not hating on other women, that's, I haven't really seen too much of that, unfortunately, because the women that I do attempt to talk to, they either downright, I'm not going to say that. Some of them, I've met some really, really genuinely kind, loving women. I will say that. Genuinely, but they haven't been attached to the man that I know. They would just be women out and about that I would meet, just at the mall or, at a market. They would never be attached to the person that I was living with. The women that I had to encounter that were connected to the person that I was living with, every single time I would say hello, say hi, be kind, try to, start a conversation, attitude. Or she'd pretend like she can't hear me, rolling her eyes, doing this, doing that. It's just like, and it's all coming from whatever precedent this man has set. And it's just so bizarre. There's just, as an adult, there's no way somebody could tell me something about somebody and I just automatically believe that shit. If anything, I'm questioning your motive and why you're coming at me with this information and why you're trying to manipulate my perception of this other person. If I want to get to know that person, I'm going to get to know them one-on-one directly. I'm not going to just believe whatever I'm told by some third party about somebody else. If I want to get the truth of who that person is, I'm going to go directly to them and speak to them and get to know them and not accuse them of anything and not assume anything about them. That just makes more sense to me. But I'm realizing people enjoy drama. People enjoy bullying people. People enjoy, I guess it's like a power trip. They feel powerful in trying to hurt someone. I don't know what that is. I don't know why. But from my perspective, it just makes you look very weak-minded. It makes you look like a follower. It makes you look like you have no mind of your own. It makes you look like you are physically 35 but mentally 12 years old. It makes me think that the hive mind and groupthink is what Ghana is about, where people just can't think for themselves or have independent thought or be able to see things clearly from their own perspective. Because if you're influenced by a lie, by gossip, by he say, she say, how are you? It's just like the concept of karma. So if this is what you're doing to someone else, and if the same thing happens to you, you have the audacity to be offended. You have the audacity to be offended when somebody's lying on you or, trying to tarnish your name. But that's what you do all day, every day. But somehow you want to be offended when it's done to you. It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. But I'm learning. And this has certainly been a learning experience. And I'm not going to give up on Ghana. I'm not going to give up on it. Despite the ignorance that I've had to encounter on the year of return, I'm still here. And I really still have no desire to return to America. But I'm going to be 100% honest about the majority of the people that I've had to encounter. I'm going to be 100% honest about it. And it just is what it is. But I'm still optimistic. And I still believe, that good, genuine, good-hearted people exist here, because I've met them, I've encountered them. They weren't connected to the people that I met through this particular individual, but I would come across them just shopping and going to the market, going to the mall. Like you would see them, just good people, sweet people with good souls. But in that particular situation where I was kind of forced to encounter that kind of toxicity and dysfunction on a regular basis, and it's just like, that's not something that I'm used to. That's not something that I subject myself to. And it was certainly a learning experience, because I had no choice but to be subjected to it. And it felt like I was back in middle school or some shit, or like elementary, like, I don't know, it just felt like I was like, I've never had to deal with this in my adulthood. This type of pettiness, like I've never, you know what I mean? It's just, you don't see that in my world. I don't entertain it, so therefore it's not a part of me. It's not a part of my experience. But given that, he was helping me so much, I just decided to, brush it under the rug, like it's no big deal. But I'm realizing, like, damn, that has really kind of changed my perspective of Ghana. It's kind of tainted my perspective of the people a little bit, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm hoping, and if y'all can pray for me and help me to just pray that I encounter genuine people, good people while I'm here, so I don't have a negative perception of this place, because I don't want to. You know what I mean? I still have high hopes, and I still want to be optimistic about it. And I don't want this individual to taint my perspective at all of the continent or of West Africa, of Ghana. I just don't want that to happen. There's too much to explore here. There's too much to learn here. And I feel like I haven't been able to explore and learn and do all the things I really wanted to do, because I was so caught up in foolishness for so long. Just every day. It was just something every single day. And I'm realizing, okay, this person really gets a kick out of this shit. Like, he really gets a kick out of being able to manipulate people just with his words, just with lies. And to get so much narcissistic supply. And that's essentially what it was about. Just supply, narcissistic supply, from being able to manipulate a situation to where he can, just tell a lie to random people, and have those same people treat this person how he wants. Basically, it's abuse by proxy. He gets to look innocent, and he kind of orders his flying monkeys or minions to do his bidding. He puts the, whatever, the lies in their ears, and they go into attack mode because they have no minds of their own, and they don't question anything he says because they have low self-esteem. And I don't, it's just whatever. But that's where I am, and I'm still optimistic. And no, I still don't want to go back to America despite all of this. So just work with me and pray that things will turn out better than this.